What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a 4chan leak. So take it with a grain of salt. That's probably the first thing we should say right in the beginning. But a 4chan leak that claims to know what NetherRealm's game is, the rumored Marvel game, and that it's actually a Marvel game. It's like an Avengers versus X-Men thing. So we'll read out what they said. To be honest with you, I want to say this in the beginning. I don't flat out not believe it. They say some things towards the end that make it a little less solid than if they didn't say it. So if they would have just kind of left the ending out, I maybe would have believed them a little bit more. But I do find it definitely interesting. Like I say, with all of these videos, you could say, well, you're giving them, kind of an opportunity to spread fake news, spread lies. I think they're always fun to talk about. I think there is a possibility of this being real. I think it opens up dialogue, all that kind of stuff. Those are kind of my excuses or my reasons why I make videos like this. Okay, so we'll read out again what they said. We'll go over my opinion of it, but make sure if you guys haven't already, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Link for that is in the description below. Okay, so the game is not a Marvel versus DC game. It only contains Marvel characters, at least as the base roster. If licensing issues can be worked out, a potential crossover with the Injustice series is possible, but not in the immediate future. The game does use a updated version of Injustice's engine, however. The game is loosely based on the 2012 comic Avengers vs. X-Men, although that is not the title of the actual game. It's not influenced by the recent Hickman run of X-Men comics since the game began development before his run began. Like the first Injustice game, it's planned to be rated T for teen. There are limitations on what characters can be used due to the Marvel vs. Capcom series, some legally, some due to NetherRealm not wanting to feel like retreading. Expect more recently prominent characters like Miss Marvel and Shang-Chi to appear. The game is not connected to the Square Enix's Avengers game or Insomniac's Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2. The release will be multi-platformed and is planned to release in late 2021. So that, honestly, that last line, I feel like is completely unnecessary. I mean, I get it. Like, release dates are important. People probably want to know when the game comes out. So I understand why you would throw that in there, but I just don't think this game is coming out later this year. That's just my opinion. That I could very well be proven wrong. And like I used to say with these kind of things, I haven't even said them recently, like, I want to be proven wrong. So, like, if I call BS on a leak or parts of a leak, I want to be wrong. I want it to eventually be proven that, no, Alex, you're an idiot. It actually happened. Like, I want that to happen. So, do I want a Marvel versus X-Men game, like basically an Injustice game, but using Marvel characters, which is still what this is? Would I want that to release in November this year? Of course I do. I just don't think it's going to happen. And if it gets announced at E3, then it obviously has a pretty good shot. If it doesn't get announced at E3, I think it doesn't have a shot at all, because then you could say, well, it would get announced at DC Fandom. No game is going to get announced at DC Fandom in October and release in November, okay? Or get announced in October and release in October. That's not going to happen. So if it doesn't get announced at E3, that only proves the ending is wrong, of this leak. So it doesn't prove the entire thing is wrong, but I do think it starts to show some cracks. I mean, again, I don't think there's anything outwardly wrong about what this leak said. Sure, it could just be somebody's opinion that they spent some time on and they put into words, and it sounds pretty darn good. I want this. I really do. It's odd because I want Injustice 3. I really do. I've never been the biggest Injustice game fan. I feel like my situation with that game is like I've liked it. I've played both of them. I've enjoyed them. And then because of I inadvertently walked in on this DC crowd, right? A lot of you guys may know me from DC stuff, and you may know I'm not like a diehard. I don't like sleep with like a Batman stuffed animal, like stuff like that. I'm not like that. And I don't even know if you guys are like that. But I feel like now I'm thrust into being super excited for Injustice 3, and I've actually kind of embraced that. Like, I really do want Injustice 3, and then to not get it and to get something else is definitely a curveball. Like, there's no way around it. And as I've said in past videos, I do think there are people that are very much wanting. Like, there's people that are fully I think expecting is the better word. They're expecting Injustice 3 as the next game from NetherRealm. And to be flat out honest with you, I will say, I believe the overall push that, like, the next game is a Marvel game. I think that's true. So I think we're much more likely to see something like this, or something close to this, like closer to this, I should say, rather than closer to Injustice 3. Okay, and again, like I think the Marvel versus Capcom stuff. I mean, I just don't know how that works out. I do assume that Capcom would, and I mean that whole just the brand and the merging of those two. I would imagine that there's some stuff that because of that is off the table. However, I will say this is the first time that any of that stuff has really been mentioned. All the other times that we've heard about the Marvel, fighting game NetherRealm was made, there's never really been any stipulations that we've seen people throw out, like, oh, but that Marvel versus Capcom stuff, like, maybe that stops them from using X and X characters. We've never heard that before until right now. So, I mean, this could be something that nobody really thought of. I'll be honest, I never thought of it, so it's very possible other people didn't. Or it could just be that this person is making it up to kind of make it sound a little bit more believable. But again, I think it leans more right, even if it's not like an Avengers. And I guess I should clarify, you guys know this by now, like, I don't read comics. I'm not into that. I've never been. I probably never will be. I don't know what the 2012 comic issue is. You guys will have to let me know if it's even good, right? But I mean, I would take the X-Men in a game. I would take Marvel. I mean, I want a Wolverine game, and remember, there's always been rumors about that. There's been rumors about a Daredevil one in the past as well. So hopefully, we get this just to kind of diversify a little bit of what Marvel has. Because as of right now, they have Spider-Man, which is amazing, and then you have Avengers, which is not amazing. And I think, well, obviously the third one could be, hopefully it could be a hit. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this is real? Again, it's just the ending. The ending is a little suspicious to me, but hey, if it gets announced literally next month, it's not unheard of. In fact, it's very common in a normal year that a game would get announced at E3 and would release that fall. I mean, it happens all the time. It's just I don't really expect it to happen so much this year because of, obviously, situations around the world. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, again, if you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, all that good stuff. Leave a like. Follow me on Twitter. PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Links always in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.